If my phone stays up. All right, hello. We are here. We are in, where are we?
The Regal Downingtown
Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so in 2003, when I was a tech for Regal, they used to send me to various theaters, and this was one of them. As soon as we pulled in, I was like, oh my God, I was here before when that fucking Brittany Murphy movie was out. The Don't Say a Word. Yeah. And I just remember that was the big movie that weekend, and I remember being the tech, and I was telling Dave, Lana and Dave are here, by the way.
Hello.
That I used to come downstairs from the projection booth and go behind the concession stand. Nobody knew who the fuck I was. I'd be wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and I'd just go get a cup of popcorn and soda, and they're like, I think he's supposed to be here. So I haven't been here since 2003. Tonight we saw CUCKOO.
I loved it.
Me too.
Yeah, it was really good.
Holy shit.
And not only did I love it, but as far as these independent movies go, the last two big ones, Maxine and Longlegs,
yeah, were disappointing.
Very disappointed. Like Maxine, very disappointed. Longlegs, I liked it, but I was still disappointed. It wasn't what I was hoping.
Yeah.
This one I fucking love.
And
I like this one better.
I did a lot more reading on Maxine and Longlegs to know, because I love Osgood Perkins, and I'm a big fan of Ty West, and I liked Pearl, and you know, Oz Perkins, Gretel and Hansel was fucking incredible.
I actually haven't seen that.
I really enjoyed that one, and the score to that movie is absolutely incredible. But I knew very little about CUCKOO going in, other than seeing the trailer when we saw. Well, I didn't see Longlegs with you. I saw it by myself, and then I was gonna do a review, but I was kind of like dejected by the movie, and then I was like, I kind of need someone else to talk about this with, so I didn't do a review of it.
Well, let us know, like if. Even the daytime, I have off sometimes on weekdays.
Yeah.
Like I can do,
I
can do daylight reviews, even though I'm a day walker with my hair.
That's true. You know, Lana Turner was a redhead.
I found somebody very special told me that.
Yeah, so I knew very little about this movie other than the trailer. It looked like, from the trailer, like you were saying, like the lady reaching when she's on the bike, and I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
This was a Giallo film.
It was a German Giallo.
A Giallo, yeah, and I said to you that a lot of Fulci's films were produced by the Germans as well, because I have a big collection of Italian horror movie posters, and it always says like Spanish-Italian co-production or Spanish-German co-production, like The Beyond is a German-Italian co-production, because the Germans were like hard pressed on there being zombies in the movie, and that's why at the end of the movie just like fucking zombies show up at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
This was, while it has all of the trappings of, like, Longlegs, like, you know, these other indie films, the long kind of static shots, the kind of awkward silence in things, there is all of the trappings of an indie film, but there's something so bizarre happening here. Tell us the plot of this movie.
Wait,
I was hoping you would explain it.
Can I just say,
Go ahead.
I knew nothing about this movie going in, and I highly recommend that's the way to go in. So
Yes.
now let's tell everyone the plot.
Oh, yeah. All right, so hold on. Two things about this movie. So, it's a girl, she's just lost her mother, her father, her stepmother, and her father's daughter all moved to this resort in the Alps of Germany, essentially on the Italian border, basically. And they're there because the mother drew up the plans for a new resort. And the girl, you know, she's obviously hurt by the death of her mother, and she had to leave all of her friends behind. She's in a band, all this kind of stuff. And then, like, weird shit starts happening. You have like the owner of the resort does not want anyone out past 10 o'clock at night. And you know, the poor fucking girl, like she gets her head cracked, then she gets in a car accident.
Yeah, she goes through it.
She goes through it.
And she's fabulous. Her name's Hunter Schafer, and she is amazing in this movie. I would like to see more actresses like this who aren't being actressy or
because
she's just so relatable,
and she's the only one in the movie that seems like not in like a horror movie kind of way, like weird things are happening. Like it's got that 80s the parents don't listen to the kids kind of thing. But I love when like she's the only sensible person in the movie. She's like, that's a weird fucking way to say that, you know. The lead guy who's like the owner of the resort,
Dan Stevens.
Yes,
I fucking loved him.
Yep.
He's like he kind of started out as like a romantic leading guy. Now he's like the bad guy all the time.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm here for it.
He looks like Scott Mosier, Kevin Smith's producer.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the guy who produced like all of Kevin Smith's
There's no way
movies.
that guy's as good looking as Dan.
No. Scott Mosier's a handsome dude. And the dad in the movie looks like he would be like one of the dudes in like the Basset Hound group in the Hostel movies, doesn't he? You know? But yeah, so and I liked it in not in like a, because I don't like it follows. I think
I had issue, like there were certain elements I liked of it follows, but then there were other things that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
The plot made no sense, and I don't have time to.
And it very much wanted to be something like it wanted to be like what's the Cronenberg movie with Barbara Steele, Shivers. It felt like it wanted to be Shivers. He even has the fucking swimming pool scene, you know. But this one has that same kind of vibe where it's clearly modern day because she's using a cell phone and all that kind of stuff, but there's so much 80s stuff. Yeah. Like Beatrix looks like she's like a character in Napoleon Dynamite almost, you know? And I like the use of the like the cassette tapes and stuff like that. But yeah, she works at this resort, and you know, and then she meets a chick who looks like the woman
Bobby from Dress to Kill.
Yeah, well, yes,
It's almost like somebody took In the Mouth of Madness and Bobby from Dress to Kill and combined them into one movie.
And I felt like it also had like a Get Out vibe and a Poltergeist or not a Psycho 3 vibe almost at certain times with the hotel with like the Giallo-esque style of it. So and I kept saying, he was like, oh my God, I love the layout of this place. So I've talked about it on this channel before and probably other channels as well. So I ran hotels for a long time when I wasn't running movie theaters. So the summer of 2010, 11, 12, I ran the Roman Holiday Hotel in North Wildwood. But in the off season, because I lived down there, the owner would give me like random jobs. So I worked off the books in the off season so I could collect.
Did you have to whack anyone?
No, I didn't. Although I almost got whacked. That's where I'm going with this story. So in the off season, he took me off payrolls, but he paid me under the table so I could collect unemployment. But at the same time, I was also running a comic book store in Atlantic City, so I was driving from Wildwood Crest. So, and that's where I met Justin and Penelope of Farpoint Toys and stuff like that. But one of the resorts that he purchased was this like it was not a trailer park, but it was a trailer park, and it was in. Do you know where Rio Grande is in what off Wildwood?
I've never been there, but
okay,
but
so
I was aware of it.
It's like kind of near Millville and stuff like that, where Mike Trout, the baseball player, is from and stuff. So it was like this like RV park that was like in the woods off the shore, and I would have to go there in like January, February, because some people would, you know, come out there and like they were hunting or whatever the fuck they were doing. But like, so I would spend a couple weeks there, and it was sort of like this, where there's fucking like just little compounds out in the woods, all right? And their main like office wasn't really an office. It was like, remember like when you were a kid, when your elementary school didn't have like enough room anymore, so they put kids in like trailers like on the thing. It was sort of like that. Or like if you went to like a job site for like a construction thing where they have their offices or like a weird trailer with like that water cooler, except this one had like fucking the guy who owned it originally had all these like kills, like bear and wolf and antlers and all this shit. So I would sit in there and I would bring my laptop and I didn't have to do anything. I just had to be there just in case. And I'll never forget this, and that's what this movie triggered two things for me, and I got to talk about both of them. So the redhead came down and we were hanging out and we're sitting in the thing, and you know there's nobody around. We're we're doing what I do at all my jobs. And then there was a banging on the door. Zip up and go see what's out there, and there's nobody out there. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird. So we had to go to another place where their server room was, and we're looking at the security footage, and there's a guy wearing like a baseball hat with long hair. He's wearing this like flannel jacket, and he was going and just banging on doors.
That's weird.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, well, let's go and try to find this guy. And they had a golf cart. So the redhead and I get on the golf cart and we're driving around trying to find this fucking dude. Can't find him anywhere. As we head back up, he's in the office. So I called the police on my fucking 2010 flip phone, and they came out. They couldn't find the guy. And it was it was fucking terrifying because I didn't know where he was. He wasn't, there was nobody staying there at that time. And it was like legitimately fucking terrifying. So I told the guys, like, man, I can't come back here unless somebody comes with me. And like, dude, that was like one of the last times I was ever there, because it was the last time I was there by myself. But I just remember this fucking dude, and he must have been like fucked up out of his mind or something. But he was just going around banging on doors.
Wow.
And then somehow he was inside the thing. Nothing was missing or anything like that. But it scared the living shit out of me, man. Because you're in the woods. You're like, there's no, you know. So this movie reminded me of that, you know, and that was really, really scary. And then the other thing is not as fun. In the movie, she calls her mom, and her mom had passed away, and she leaves messages for her mom. I do that to Christy. Christy died over a year ago, and her voicemail is full now, but I will just, because we were together, we were in each other's lives for over like 30 years, and I'll just call and just tell her what's going on. I'm not a religious person in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. All right, let's stop talking about this. Let's talk about CUCKOO. Yeah. Sorry. But the movie, it affected me when you hear the voicemail, because that's something that I would do, you know. And
well, I save voicemails from people who close to me,
me too.
Deceased now, and I listen to.
I like hearing their voices, and there's been so much things that have gone on within the last 2 years that. You know, she would have been my sounding board when I would get, you know, when I would have issues with, like, you know, when all this shit happened with Screamwave and stuff like that, she was the person who I talked to about all that. When that stuff happened with the redhead, she was the person I talked to. I even like to bitch about women in my life now, or how things were going with the channel, or projects or something like that. So I would call her and just tell her, like, you know, do you think I'm crazy? And I know that she doesn't hear me, but it's, you know, yeah. So go ahead, let's talk about the movie. I brought it down.
That's okay. Well, I'm also going to mention, dude has a tremendous amount of bird shit on his car.
I do.
Yeah,
and it doesn't just look like bird shit. It looks like the bird like rubbed his ass, like he was like, fuck you, and like rubbed his ass down the windshield.
Wait till you see all the footage from Amityville Pool Toy Massacre, because we have all this drone footage.
Nice.
So you just see that looks like Peter North just fucking jacked off all over my car. I live under a train. Like, and not in like a I'm ugly, I should be like razzling billy goats kind of way, but like I live literally under the train, so there's all these pigeons and shit like that. So no matter what I do, how many times I wash my car, it doesn't matter. I had Darcy the mail girl, and she said the same thing. She's like, what the fuck is all over your car? And I was like, don't worry about it, you know? Yeah.
This bird must have been the size of Volkswagen.
Yeah, I think so. You got to see the front too. Like it's no matter what I do.
I've never seen bird shit like this in my life.
I think it's a mixture of bird shit and like the moisture coming off of the tracks too.
Okay, you should make that your thumbnail when you do the review.
All the bird shit on your car.
It's just this bird just fucking having diarrhea all over my car, winking at you.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say yes. It has a great atmosphere. The cast is great. You know, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
The music, like the sound effects, are cool. It's very original. It's just so different, and it's never boring. And it's just got some really good creepy shots, some good creepy. Because I hate saying jump scares, because at some point, like when we grew up, jump scares were awesome.
Yeah.
Like Carrie, Friday the 13th,
Jaws, you know, the head.
At some point, people started like abusing them, and they just, instead of putting any kind of creativity into it, it was just bad sound effects. And
that's those paranormal activity movies. It's just like, I think it was Red Letter Media did a thing where it's like, it's not a movie, it's like a ride. You're just sitting in perfect silence until something boom, you know.
And it's just, it's just loud noise. And nothing really else going on. But this has effective jump scares, or I used to call them pop out scenes, but I guess they're called like jump scares now. But so there's some scenes there. It was like, oh my god, especially with the Bobby lady. The very creepy scenes. A lot of great dark humor. It just feels fresh. I don't know. I know this year has been a big year. A lot of independent horror has been coming out, and even though Longlegs, I didn't love it. I'm glad it's making a lot of money, because this does open the door for other independent horror films. But I gotta be honest, with all the horror coming out this year, I haven't really loved that much of it.
No, me either.
I'm a little like a lot's coming out, but I'm like maybe the next one will be the one. Maybe the next one, you know. I think Late Night with
my
the
next one will be
Devil-
better.
This and Late Night with the Devil right now, I think are my two.
And I
favorites
finally
too.
saw that one, and I really enjoyed
good. Did you
it.
do
But
a
you know what
review?
ruined it for me?
What's that?
It was that AI.
Ah! 3 seconds of AI.
I had to turn the movie off. I just couldn't deal with that. You
It's
know?
all the extra fingers.
You
Yeah.
had to go scream on X about how angry you are, you know.
Call
I
Twitter.
fucking hate
I'll be
it.
cold
Yeah.
and dead before I call
Yeah.
next.
Exactly.
I call it X just to piss off the people when I call it.
I say like WWF, and people look at me and they're like, "Hey, I don't like wrestling, but I say it just to piss those people off." You know. No, again, they're just. The Bobby character with the reflection in the glasses that looks like red eyes is so fucking weird, and the idea of like that being your monster is so like unnatural that it's cool.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing where they're in hospitals are fucking terrifying. You know. But the whole scene where the dude with the AK-47 and the detective, and he pushes over all the shelves, that scene, I leaned over to you, I was like, this is fucking beautiful. Like, this is so well shot that it reminds me of a lot of those Giallo films in the way that the framing was, everything in this movie is slightly uneasy.
Yes.
And that's what was super cool about it. And it's that, because again, when it starts, you go, this could easily go the way of a lot of these indie darling type of movies where it's the pretentiousness outweighs everything, and then just, you know, like A24 movies, like a naked old person is not scary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Well,
that
depends on the naked.
well,
old
that's true. But that seems to be like their bread and butter. It's
Yeah,
just like,
it's like,
well, a
well,
naked old person. There you go. That's scary, right? And it's
yeah.
like, no, not really.
All
you know?
along, they haven't been making horror movies. They just have a fetish.
Yeah,
feel
I think
that
so.
was something that was scary in the 70s, like the Sentinel, and they had,
Oh
like,
yeah, that scene in the Sentinel where I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, but like it's something now they just do it. It's lazy because they don't really do anything special.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like here's a naked old person. So another thing I really like talking about giallos is like the fashion, because Dan Stevens is the bad guy. He has some interesting clothes, and they really fit the character. Whoever dressed him really put a lot of thought into it, because like he has these shoes they focus on, which are cool, but they're very off-putting because the laces are on the side, and I'm like, that's so off-putting for some reason, because then we think of the way you'd have to like, and there's just everything about his outfits are just off-putting.
I like that everything is very like straight, you know, whereas everyone else, and the first time I ever noticed this in a movie was Unbreakable, where his clothes, as he starts to realize what he is, become more billowy.
Yes.
And I thought that was cool. And in this one, because Dan Stevens' character is trying to have complete control, he's very neat in everything that he does, whereas everyone is slightly askew.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of
That's true,
cool.
because Hunter Schafer, like the whole time, she's got messy hair, and her clothes are a little like off to the side, like she's very disheveled.
Even her hair is like slightly uneven too. I said to you, as like she looks like Tilda Swinton and young Jodie Foster, which I thought was really cool.
I think that's right.
And even like the parents, like just angles of them seems unnatural. You know, there's just weird, it's not a Dutch angle, but it's not quite straight, which I thought was kind of cool. So you're into this world where all of you as an audience member are kind of waiting for something, and it doesn't always pay off, but I like that anticipation the entire time, which I thought was really cool. And again, you said the score, the sound effects, the weird close-ups of the neck and stuff like that. It's like, does the story add up to something? It's got that, like, again, like Get Out, that kind of like, you know, the bioengineering horror Dr. Frankenstein kind of angle to it, but there is this like you are so engrossed in the performances and in all the other stuff that like that stuff doesn't matter as much. Like I didn't need everything to be I didn't need the end of Psycho where they give you all the narrative dump all at once, because it's like, okay, I'm here for this, you know, and it's just going to continue. What the sister is what the sister is now, you know? So no, I this shocked the living fuck out of me, because again, like you see the trailer and you go, okay, I've seen a lot of these, like this was Neon, right? I've seen a lot of these Neon A24 type movies where you come out of it and you go, oh, like Long Legs, the parts that worked for me didn't outweigh the parts that didn't work for me. You know, I thought Nicolas Cage was fucking great playing Tiny
He's
Tim.
always great.
You know,
He's always great.
he was just Tiny Tim in Blood Harvest.
Yeah,
You know,
and Alicia Witt was great, but
yeah.
I felt like there was the payoff you were hoping for. It didn't lead to that.
It came too late in the movie.
It came late, but it was also like not shocking.
Yeah.
And then it was like there were a lot of unanswered questions.
And just because
it has a good, like, the beginning kind of builds it up. You're like, well, this is gonna be good. And then it's like never really goes to where it should go, you know.
But yeah, and I guess, and we're also in an era now. Like they keep trying to, like, this is a good year for Satan in movies. You know, you've got Late Night with the Devil. He's
gonna cry when he gets his honorary Oscar.
Yeah, right. You know.
Thanks for visiting my island and
raising
those kids.
Exactly. I like to thank Jesus for this one. You know.
I know we don't always say that.
Yeah, but you know, the Jews run Hollywood, am I right? But what they do, I don't know. You know? Actually, no, the Chinese market now runs Hollywood.
Yes,
so
that's why all these unnecessary sequels.
Until Bollywood takes over.
Like, I don't know, man. Some of that, like, going back to like movie theater stuff, like, it's amazing where Bollywood movies are now. Because when I was at Regal, around the time this was out, there was, like, when Bollywood movies would come to us, because I was the first one to go, like, at Burlington in South Jersey, I was like, hey, there's a lot of, like, Indian people in this area. We should be doing India movies. And I had to go to, like, did you ever hear Kevin Smith tell the story about Superman, when he had to write the Superman movie? And he had to, like, keep going and like, saying it to one executive, and then that other executive was in, and then every time he would go back, the same people would be in the room, but there'd be more and more of them. They made me do that at Regal. I had to keep going up and up and up the ladder. I was like, yeah, we should be doing Bollywood movies. And they're like, okay, but you got to be in charge of them. I know nothing about Indian people, you know? So when I started booking movies, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool, you know? And people started showing up, but you know, like, films would come in film cans. These wouldn't. They would come in a cardboard box. And they like
come in a Happy Meal.
Yeah, no, don't get me started on McDonald's with the Indian movies. That's a whole other story. But I have a movie I have to review to tell that story. But yeah, I would say, well, okay, where does this go back to? Because there's no return address. They're like, oh, just throw it away. And like the movies wouldn't come on Coors and all that kind of stuff. Like one time it came in like a bag, like you know The Simpsons, like putting the milk in a cool wet sack. That's what some of their movies came on, you know. But yeah, so like that was the whole thing. And then, but now you have like RRR a couple years ago. That movie was fucking incredible.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, they're like 8 hours long, and no matter what the movie is, they're singing and dancing.
Just the song. I do.
That's just the song. That's
like
the Indian or is it Turkish? This Friday the 13th one, or Nightmare on Elm Street, Mahakal, where like, yeah, Freddy's a child rapist murderer, but they still have a good time to do that. And that's what I have. That's Newt's thoughts on Bollywood. You get me talking about Bollywood and crying in a review, and you know it's a good time, you know? But no, this was surprising, and I don't want to give anything away because I really want people to check this movie out. But no, this was this might be on my like top 10 favorite movies in the year.
Definitely one of the best I've seen this year, I have to say.
And I think it is because we do live in an age now where I could go on Wikipedia right now and read the whole synopsis of the movie, you know. And when you said, "Hey, we should go see CUCKOO tonight," because I just got done work.
Yeah, because it's been so long. Because you know, we just have he's been busy with the movie, and we're moving into a house, so it's like everything's been busy. But I'm like, I want to make time because I hate doing that. Like, oh, we'll get together. And 3 years go by. So I'm like, hurry up, let's do something.
Well, that was because recently, my Facebook flashback thing had the Phantom of the Paradise, and that's the night we ran into you, and I apologized to you, and that's when we became friends again. But we didn't talk for.
But I got a chance to apologize too because I fucked up too.
Well, you know.
We're not gonna angel.
Yeah, well, that's right, Dave. You were the one. Like when I lost Dave in the divorce, that was the. Did you just notice Dave and I are both outside looking at the same sky, like somewhere out there? Do you kids remember Fievel?
I do, sadly.
I remember that song, which I cannot stand. I never saw the movie.
Oh, really?
No.
Who sang that song? It was.
Wasn't it Peebo Bryson?
Peebo Bryson, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he also did remember at the end of Alive, he does the version of Ave Maria.
Yeah.
And I just remember like being in the theater.
Oh god.
Like his voice is like the
so
throat in this movie. Like, oh no. Oh god.
It's like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
We got cuckooed.
Mm-hmm. All right. But yeah, wow, we're fucking all over the
We
place.
both made mistakes.
Yeah.
And Dave's innocent.
And Dave is just a saint, just a sweet angel baby, caught in the middle of a quarrel. Like Romeo and Juliet back there, you know?
Well, it's funny because there's people on like Facebook and stuff who just people are friends who get on my fucking nerves or done things and I'll unfriend them, but like, because Dave doesn't get on there much, so they'll stay friends with Dave. And one of them I unfriended, I can't stand, I won't say who it is. But he keeps like sending Dave birthday messages, and I'm like, it's just funny because like Dave doesn't really respond or anything. It's been like years now.
I like when people don't get the hint.
Yeah, they don't.
But I because I've said that in reviews before. Like I felt really bad, but like I didn't know how to reach out, and then
same here because over the years I definitely missed hanging out with you, and I felt bad too. But I'm just like, we're both fucked up.
Big time.
And we're both like awkward, and we don't know how to like share emotions.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Crying Game?
Yes.
That's one of my favorite movies. And one of my favorite scenes is when the IRA finds Stephen Ray, and they after everything happened, they kidnap and put him in the car.
Yeah.
And he's trying to bring up the good times they had together, and Adrian Dunbar like turns around, he like burns him with a cigarette and punches him. He's like, you're getting fucking emotional. I don't like getting fucking emotional. That's how I feel.
Yeah. But again, the older I get about stuff, the more I'm trying to fix things. And I was telling you about like the film shoots. Like I had 4 ex-girlfriends all on set at the exact same time, and they were all different points of their life, and they some of them know about each other, but it was never crossover. Like it was never like that, but it was just like one of those things where like, because I've had Amber on the channel, not Silverman, the other one. And everybody thinks she looks like Katie Sackhoff, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, she's really pretty. I saw that review.
So she, we always spoke, but we weren't able to be together since 2013. We're not together, but I mean like, hanging out together and stuff like that. And we get back together and hang out, and we drove around South Jersey, all the places we used to go when we were dating and stuff like that. And it is like riding a bike when it comes to people, because I remember like, even before you worked for me, we always joked around and stuff like that. And then when you did work for me, like I have the pictures, like when you got me like the My Girl, novelization.
I went on break and got him the My Girl novelization because there was this really weird I love a used bookstore around the corner, but this one, like nothing was on shelves, everything was just stacked on the floor, and I'm like, if somebody lights a match, we're dead. But of course I had to go in there and dig in the piles, and I found the My Girl novelization. I come back and give it to Dude. He's like, this is so cool.
And you got me like the Dick Tracy stuff for my birthday and the cake and all that kind of stuff. So he
got me cool stuff too.
I did, yeah.
Newt's got game. He got me a Jaws 2 lobby card. He got me the 1979 Invasion of the Body Snatchers poster, or 78. I forgot which year that was. And then he also, for his birthday, I got him a cake that said "Happy Birthday, Nate." And then for my birthday, he got me a cake that said "Happy 60th." But it was strawberry. And I'm like, nobody ever got me a strawberry cake. Like,
well, because you said that you liked it, and I remember things.
I was like, holy shit.
But no, so that's my thing, is like trying to keep the people in my life, because as I get older and people, that I love go away and all that kind of stuff, be it dead or I'm dead to them, you got to keep the people, there, because these are these are the people, you have all these great memories with people and stuff like that. I went back and I rewatched the review I did, it was like 2 years ago, for Ghost House, the Umberto Lenzi film, with my best friend in middle and high school, or elementary and middle school, and like he and I will reconnect, and then he'll vanish for a really long time. He disappeared from Facebook and stuff, so I can't even track him down. But I was just rewatching that not too long ago because I was feeling sentimental for shit, and it was just funny the way that he and I were talking, after like and jumping right back into shit from when I'll just leave it off from when we were little kids and stuff like that. And it's just like that's the kind of stuff that I crave. The older I get, is that kind of connection with people. So that's why I was like, you know, when it popped back up in my Facebook feed, there's a long way of going back to that. It was the night that we went to the Colonial and I saw you and I approached you about that, and then you know we've stayed, you know, we message each other every day and all that, almost every day.
Yeah, the schedule.
And I'm gonna be hopefully moving closer to this area.
That would be so cool because wait, can we turn it on again? Just because I just feel like the shadow is gonna make me look like I have a mustache. So I'm very excited. We can't do it now because you guys got.
I gotta get for work tomorrow.
But about 5 minutes down the road from this theater are these legendary tunnels. They're called the Twin Tunnels, and there's 3 of them. But
I'll never forget.
They were always like urban legend tunnels back in the 80s when I moved to the area and everything. And then in 1995, a guy found half of a body in a suitcase. And then 6 months later, they found the legs in a park, like up in Lancaster, somewhere like far from here.
Yeah.
And the case, it's a Jane Doe. They don't know who she is. They never found out who killed her. It's never been solved. And it's so eerie because it happened there.
Yeah.
So we're going to take them up because if you drive through the tunnels, they're so fucking creepy. And you got to go. And the big thing is you go through and turn your lights off. Yeah. It's dark and everything. So we'll probably get in a car.
So as we were... Well, with Alicia Witt, like in the beginning of Urban Legend. Remember that? Turn the lights off and that's what, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Because as we're walking out of the theater, you're like, have you ever heard of the Twin Tunnels? And I was like, oh no. And then
you know what? Why don't we do a video one night?
We
One
should.
of us will film it.
We
and
should.
Then we'll just do a whole video.
That'd be kind of
on it.
cool.
Yeah, because people go there, park, and there's one of the tunnels. One tunnel has like the water flowing through it. One you drive through, and then the other one is just like gravelly and everything. That's the one that people walk through.
Yeah.
So I've never walked through that one.
Yeah.
But we could try that too.
That'd be cool.
We could do like a whole night, especially with Halloween coming.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
I've been wanting to do more like spooky shit on this channel
let's
too.
Do that.
Because I was telling, they're making me work. I have to learn every position over again in the building that I'm taking over, and I've never worked in a kitchen before. I don't cook.
I was wondering about that because this is a different type of theater.
Yeah, and I don't want to.
I didn't know if you ever dealt with the food industry.
No, I haven't.
Because I know it's pure hell.
Yep. Yeah. Like I've never worked with a fryer before and stuff like that. So the dudes who work in there have been very nice to me. Maybe because they know I'm gonna be their boss, you know. But they've been super cool. But the one guy was talking about like haunted houses and stuff like that, and I was telling him about Vampa in Bucks County, which is it's a vampire museum. And the guy who owns it,
I've heard of this place. I want to go there.
So when I worked at Screenwave, we had to go to PAX East in Boston, and I had to like all the like I don't even know how to explain them. All the guys who worked as like the channel managers upstairs, who were all like. You know, they all look like Bill Hader's character on SNL, like the hottest club in New York is Kerplunk. They all look like that guy. Like everybody who works upstairs got their hair cut at Ulta. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of guy. There was a dude, he still works there. He's got like a George Michael earring.
Oh my god!
And I said to him, I was like, and I was asking about George Michael, and he's like, he looked at me like I was speaking Swahili to him, and I was like, then why do you have that? You know,
right?
Like, I'm not the problem.
Does he have
you
a
are.
Knife hanging up?
Oh, that'd have been awesome. And like fucking tight jeans and like sucking dudes off in a park.
I thought you meant an earring shaped like him.
Oh, that would be great too. Yeah, I'd have faith in that.
No.
Who was it? It was Andrew Ridgeley was the other guy,
That's
right?
He was the John Oates of Wham.
Yeah. Choose Life t-shirt and little yellow gloves like
that was neon before neon.
That was, yeah. But yeah, so I had to pick all these fucking dudes up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive them to PAX East, and they all showed up at like 8:45.
Oh.
So I'm pissed because I got to drive this fucking minivan up there, and it's when COVID first started happening, and they started talking about it. So I'm there. I got to set up the whole thing and I have a funny picture if you go back in my social media where my former best friend and the owner of the company are just sitting in lawn chairs as I unload a fucking U-Haul by myself. Just like with running the restaurant, you know, the kitchen thing. I've never done this before, you know, like I never had to do this shit. So on the way back, I was so pissed off I had to pack everything up by myself after the weekend. And on the way back, I got a flat tire in Hartford. And this is a long way to talk about Vampa. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get there. So I get a flat tire. So I called AAA and I paid for it out of my own pocket. They never paid me back, by the way.
Oh.
But they were like, oh, that was a test because you knew how to get a tire changed. Because when I went to the back of the thing in their Screenway van, they didn't have a spare. Mm-hmm. They had a jack, but they didn't have a spare. So I had to do the whole thing. And as I'm driving back, I go by I think it was Swamp Road. There's dinosaurs on the fucking side. You drive down this dark country road and there's dinosaurs. And I say to people, I'm like, there's fucking dinosaurs.
It's like a roadside attraction?
They just have...
Just randomly dinosaurs.
There's just randomly full-size dinosaurs. I mean, I'm sure they're not full-size.
Right.
Because dinosaurs don't exist because it was a myth created by the Jews. As I've been told by people over the years, because the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
But I do have to say, nobody really knows what the fuck ever happened. So you can speculate, but even, you just don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, they had, did they have feathers,
when
whatever.
they say something's like 44 million years old,
Yeah.
it's like, how the fuck do they know it's not 45 million? Like, it's just
Carbon
like nobody...
dating.
Yeah, okay,
and
sure.
the Jews. I'm part Jewish, so it's okay.
Dave and I were having this discussion the other night. We're never going to know the truth about anything, so we're just going to drink and not worry about it.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just like, it's pointless to worry about anything.
Yeah.
The whole fucking Earth is on fire.
Yeah.
Everyone is insane.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just want to make a movie about killer pool toys, man. And hang out with my friends.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all you can do.
You know?
Just have fun while you're here. And
And
you're
just
never
like
gonna get to the bottom of anything.
And occasionally just stand outside and sing to the heavens and hope that on the other side is Dave, But yeah, so I'm like, there's fucking dinosaurs, and nobody believed me, so I made everybody get in my car with me, and I drove them to the dinosaurs, and they're like, oh, it turns out Newt's not crazy, there's dinosaurs here. But what's inside there was this dude had like a fucking vampire museum. And it had all these like occult items and curse shit and like these ossuary fucking gates and shit like that, and it's all there. And I've seen more and more people like doing like videos about it now. This has nothing to do with CUCKOO. But when COVID was like happening and I was forced to be in the office every day doing like, building podcast studios for podcasts that would never happen, I said, Tiger King was out. I was like, this fucking dude who owns this place, he's this little fat guy. All right, he looks like Paul Bellini from The Kids in the Hall, and he's telling us these stories about like these occult groups that are trying to stop him from getting all these things. It's like, he's the vampire king. We should stop trying to fucking make the angry video game nerd care about shit. We should stop putting money into Tony hack movies and start fucking putting money into this fucking little weird guy he's the vampire king.
Right.
And they were just like, no, we need to keep dragging the bloated corpse of these YouTubers out, and I've only had a couple drinks tonight, but no, and so that's my Vampire King story, and it has nothing to do with CUCKOO, but
it's my fault because I bought Sunny Delight flavored vodka sodas and I smuggled them into the theater. So they're so sugary. They remind me of like Mad Dog. Remember you drink Mad Dog when you were young? And I remember I was drinking. I'm like, I'm gonna get diabetes.
I got
They're gonna take my foot. Which. At the same place, that was the lady in the trailer park thing that I had to work at, who was missing a foot, and like she would just kind of like wheel around on the gravel with her missing foot, and like, but it was in a way that like she didn't wear like a sock over it or anything, so it just like the fucking Slim Jim end was just always like wiggling. And then it's one of those things where if somebody tells you don't look at something, you have to look at it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she came out and she'd be like, oh, it's supposed to be like 52 degrees today. It's almost springtime. And I'm just like, as it's just like, and it's like, yeah, but it had that like shimmery gleam to the end of it. And that's why I just kept thinking like the end of like a Slim Jim, That is nothing. I don't know. This review got way off the...
when we go off. It's fun when we go off the rails.
Pardon me, ma'am. You've got some gravel stuck.
Yeah. She can't feel anything in that thing.
I hate feet anyway, so deformed feet.
And there's so I'm rewatching all the footage from Pool Toy Massacre, and there's so many feet shots, and I don't know why, because I don't like feet.
Okay, good. See, we have a lot in common.
Yeah, and because I was like, so we didn't get enough of the footage that we needed, because I only got like 60% of what I needed from Darcy because of the storm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I had to have like stunt legs and stunt feet and stuff to transition us from one scene to the other. So I'm just like, God, there's so many fucking feet shots. I'm like, when did I become Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah.
I don't like feet at all.
They're so weird looking. I just hate them. I hate everything about feet.
Yeah.
Unless they're baby feet. Those are like feet that I think are all right. Baby fear cube.
Okay.
Haven't you ever like played with a baby and like...
I try my best to stay as far away from children as possible.
Yeah.
I got enough problems on the Reddit. Like,
This is true.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I take like my brother's kids. They're like, my brother's son is like 6 now. And the last time I saw, I know nothing about kids. He's like came up to me. I was like, "What do you need? Like some formula or something?"
Did you lift up your shirt?
Yeah. Like in Burial Ground, Michael.
Oh God.
Suckle at my teeth.
That's
God.
the one thing up at the studio, the new studio, Severin Films put out Burial Ground, and one of the things that came with it was a pillowcase with Michael's face on it.
That's amazing.
And the producer got it for me with the jacket,
That's
which I
awesome.
can't. Well, I'm gonna show that. I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but I gotta show people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend CUCKOO. This
Yeah.
review was
Yes.
CUCKOO.
Yes.
Yeah. So what are we seeing next?
I want to whatever you want to say.
Joe Don Baker's Cuckoo.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't. Well, the Crow looks terrible. I almost want to see that with you because it looks like we tear it apart.
Yeah. And I've heard nothing but bad things about it. The only thing I like Skarsgård a lot, and the girl in it, they look like they have amazing chemistry together. But like it looks like we started making a Crow movie, but we ran out of money, so we just made a John Wick movie.
Yeah.
With Juggalo makeup.
With Jared Leto
Wow.
makeup.
Yeah, like a SoundCloud rapper with Jared Leto makeup on. So yeah, that one, Beetlejuice for sure. Yeah.
I know there's got to be some other stuff.
Well, I was
coming
gonna
out.
say, if you think in the Crow they have good chemistry, I've got some bad news for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I was
Crow,
singing.
no.
Yeah. I was singing the praises of the second one recently.
Wait, I love that one. That's the one with Chris. No, I'm thinking of the
Yeah, that's the
Prophecy.
third
I'm
one.
thinking of the Prophecy.
Oh no, the Prophecy's good
Christopher
too.
Walken, 'cause
That's
the second one is Glenn Danzig.
yeah.
So I like
Yup.
that one.
Actually, the Prophecy's a good fucking movie.
Yeah, I enjoy that series.
Yeah, Virginia Madsen and Viggo Mortensen. Yeah.
So I don't remember the Crow too.
Okay, The Crow 2, City of Angels. Iggy Pop is in it. Fucking the first, well, not the second Punisher. Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane.
Because I always think of like Arrested Development. Tom Jane. Just need my kids back. But like I haven't heard anything about a soundtrack for this new one. And the first two movies, like their soundtracks are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You've got the second one especially. You got PJ Harvey. You got like the first one more so. Second one though, you got like fucking you got Rob Zombie on it doing and you've got Hole doing Fleetwood Mac on it and stuff like that. I love the first two Crow movie soundtracks. Then the third one is all like Kid Rock, and Edward Furlong is the Crow.
There's one. Is there a fourth Crow?
I think there's like 5.
Is it
Is
really
there
Eddie
one with
Furlong's
Kirsten
in it?
Dunst?
Huh?
Is there one with
Kirsten Dunst is in the one with Eric Morbius.
Does that have like the Juliette Lewis is on the soundtrack?
Yes.
It has like a wild.
Yeah,
sound.
yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Danzig's on the soundtrack.
Yeah,
because
because the third one is Wicked Prayer, and I can't remember what the one with Juliette Lewis on the soundtrack is called. But yeah, it was supposed to get a theatrical run, and then when that failed, they were going to do the Rob Zombie, The Crow, like 2047 or whatever. That script is fucking awesome.
Really?
It was like a post-apocalyptic Crow movie where Christopher Lee was going to play like. He's the one who was responsible for everything, and he's like the president, but then the president becomes like a god, and like it becomes this like this America and Christianity thing, and he runs everything, and then the Crow, Christopher Lee's character is young when he kills them, and then he rises up, and the Crow loves the power so much that he doesn't kill the last person on purpose, so he can continue to live to the point where he forgets why he became the Crow in the first place. And the script is fantastic. There's all these things where like he can't remember his wife's face, so there's all these written in the thing where like there's pictures of her but you can't see her face. And I was like, oh, that's a really fucking haunting idea. It's like do you ever hear of Scud the Disposable Assassin? It was a comic book where assassins are available in vending machines, and it's almost like Pinocchio. He becomes sentient, so he just mortally wounds the last guy, so he never shuts down, then he just continues to live. And I was like, oh, that's a really fucking cool idea. Francis Ford Coppola owned the rights for a while, and they were going to make a movie out of it, and then nothing ever happened with it. Yeah, all right, so that's CUCKOO. We were talking for 43 minutes.
How many
43 minutes.
Oh wow.
I enjoyed every one of those.
I like just, that's one of the things is once we get like the studio space together, I'd like to just do like actual like podcast videos with people.
Yeah.
So it's not sitting in a sweaty car.
Yeah,
And
it is very
you could
sweaty.
just sit in you know, and just sit and just like talk to people about shit. Because
I would
you know
love that. And then when we get furniture in our house, we can film stuff there.
it's very true.
And
Because we still have to, I keep saying it, we have to watch Swamp Zombies
Yes,
too.
I want to see that. And also, you were talking about Alien 3.
Yeah.
I would love to do a review of that with you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love Alien 3.
Yeah, Google Alien 3.
Yes.
Oh wait, somebody already did that. Everybody told me that once they finally got to that, they didn't watch it because I wasn't in it.
Yeah.
So that was fine.
Oh, they did actually end up
They
doing
did do it, yeah. Because the original idea, and I don't know what they did because I'll never watch their channel, was when we were gonna get all the guest stars that were from the channel. And then they were all going to be in the beginning, and then everyone was going to die except for myself and the fat Italian guy. And then it would be like, you know, Brooklyn's the only one left. It would be like that. We have to review the movie after, like, there was going to be a big bus ride where everybody's talking about working with us, what a big honor it is, and I'm the genius who made Swamp Zombies 2 and all that kind of stuff. And they get like other bigger YouTubers, and then everyone dies except us, so we have to review the movie by ourselves. So I don't know what they actually ever did, but I'm sure they took my idea.
Probably.
Yeah.
But have you reviewed Alien 3 on your own?
No.
Okay, we should do that one.
There's a bunch of shit that I just haven't done
I
it.
have that extended version on.
Oh, okay.
I got that big box.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few years ago.
Well, do you remember the one with the head? Remember that one?
No.
That was awesome.
Oh, no.
They did the quadrilogy, but it came in the head, and you lifted the top off, and it had all the discs in it.
That is very cool. I
Yep.
had the one where you just folded it. It just like went in different directions.
Yeah.
And folded it.
I was digging through stuff the other day, and I found the 4 Batman movies that came in the one where the thing pops off, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember where I was when I bought this. I bought it at Kmart. They don't even fucking exist anymore, you know?
The last time, right before Kmart closed, I was walking around shopping. I was wearing a Yingling t-shirt, and somebody asked me if I worked there.
There used to be, I took over the Wayne Theater in 2014. There was a Kmart up the street that wound up because the fucking dude, like the "Don't Tread on Me" flags. Like, I see this guy around all the time. Like, you know, all right, buddy. You know, really, those are like, please tread on me. Like, nothing more if you treaded on me, daddy. You know. Yeah, but so there was one up the street from the theater, and this was 2014, and it was like I traveled back in time because they had Spider-Man 3 action figures still on the shelves. That came out in like 2005?
I think it was earlier?
No, later than that. Maybe like
2004?
No, because
I thought it was
2001 was the first one. 2004 was the second
for
one.
Grace, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was maybe 7 or 8, something like that.
Well, look, because I thought that was right at the end of that 70s show, which I thought ended around that time.
I feel like it's like 2005.
5 or 6 maybe.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Because
I'll
I
look into
definitely
it.
I saw it with my friend Kevin at the Marlton 8 Theater because I saw Spider-Man 2. I was running the Regal Theater and the Moreland on the boardwalk in Ocean City. I was down there. My grandparents got a beach house every year, and I have like 50 million fucking cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff like that. And they got this big house. So I brought Christy down there, I was crying about earlier, and the guy who ran the movie theater invited me to a private screening of it. So we got to see Spider-Man, and I remember I brought my cousin Kenny, who's like a fucking weird dude, but he's like a juice head weirdo, and like he still talks about that to people, and I'm just like,
wow.
yeah, like he's like a personal trainer in Arizona now, and like somebody will go like, oh, your cousin told us about that time you took him to see Spider-Man 2. I was like, what a weird
Because
pull.
like nothing's happened to him.
Nothing's happened since then. Yeah, like I got really jacked and moved across the country, but I have this one moment that I cling to. It's like his Count of Monte Cristo moment, you know.
Oh my God.
Rosebud. But yeah, so that's yeah, I gotta remember when the third one came out. But yeah, so long story short, I'm walking around Kmart. There's no like nothing's folded and stuff like that. I remember I had to go over there and buy magic markers for the theater because we had nothing to like mark all the shit. And I went over there and I was like, Spider-Man 3 action figures, what the fuck? Like, if there's still time, I can warn people about the housing crash. We went into a place. It's around the same time they had Surge, and I was I can warn people about 9/11. There's time now.
They have Fruitopia?
No, remember Fruitopia? It was clearly Canadian
That
still
was
a
my
thing.
hangover drink.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yep. All right, so that has nothing to do with anything. I recommend going to see CUCKOO.
I recommend it too.
Yeah, and we'll get together again and we'll do another movie.
I think we've all just sweated out about the
I think right now we're on a vision
It looks
quest.
like the love scene in Titanic. Yeah. My window on the window. Like...
They're like, what the fuck are those three doing to that little man in the back seat? We're about to make a wobbly H. Bite the pillow, Dave. I'm going in dry. All right, that's it. CUCKOO, bye.